Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to our challenge hour live for this week. We are going to do this week's challenge based on this sketch right here. If you need like the link back to the blog or anything, make sure you go to my Ashley Scrappy VIP group and request to join that, and it's always pinned in the featured section. So every week I change it out. So if you are on, say hello. It is a very snowy day here in Mason County anyway. Happy snow day if you are on a snow day. I know most of Mason County kids are. I think all of them are actually. I don't know about West Michigan, but I know Mason County is all in a snow day just because of all the fun coming and that it's here. So we're going to get lots of snow here and it's a little chilly. So it's a great day to scrapbook in my opinion. So if you hear a little voice, my daughter is home, obviously. I did warn her I was live, so she probably won't even come near here. But so just go ahead and comment if you're on. I'm just checking to make sure I'm in frame here. Looks like I need to move down a little bit. So yeah, while we wait for people to jump on, I'm going to go over some announcements, and I'm just going to do it on the old-fashioned card today. So last weekend was my VIP open house. Thank you so much if you guys popped into that. I was in my exclusive group there, my Ashley Scrappy VIP group. So that's pretty exciting. We had lots of deals flying around and I sold through lots of inventory, which was cool. So you guys are awesome and I just wanted to say thank you. So thank you for coming to that. We played some fun games, did some categories. I think that's probably the group's favorite. So it's just a good time. So if you're not in my VIP group, definitely join that. There's so much fun to be had there. It's just a really fun group of ladies who will just, you know, show off their stuff and we all encourage each other and it's fun. So next up is December 18th. I'm doing a Scrap Together Live. I do those monthly and those are in the evenings on a Wednesday evening. It'll be December 18th, like I said, at 7 p.m. So I think what we're going to do is another project recipe based on that book we got. If you did the birthday promo a couple months ago, I think it was October then, and you got that book, I'm going to be using a sketch out of there. So if you want to tune in for that, you can tune in, just watch. You can, you know, bring your stuff, whatever. You can sit in your craft room and craft along with us. I will hopefully post what we're doing before then so you know what to have. But yeah, that's totally free. It's on both of my groups and pages. So if you're on Instagram, make sure you jump on Facebook. Sorry. It is recorded as well. So I do post those on YouTube just like these videos, the challenge hour lives. And then this is kind of the final call for Scrappy Camp, for Winter Scrappy Camp. Sunday is, sorry, I don't know, I'm mirrored right now. I'm not mirrored, sorry. For joining that. So if you haven't RSVP'd and paid for that yet and you want to, now is the time. So I'm already gathering all the things. I'm going to hopefully start delivering those end of this week and this weekend. I was going to start, you know, today or tomorrow, but the weather, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going on. So I will be bringing that stuff around to my people who are signed up soon. So if you are interested, Sunday is the last day to RSVP, just so I know I have my stuff together. Yeah, so that's, if you don't know what that is, it's a fun time together. It's 10 weeks, so it's all virtual as well, so you don't have to live near me to do it. Like I said, I had a gal from Florida do it last time. I have people from all over that join us, so you get 30 challenges, and it's a great way to pass winter by. We usually do it in the summer, but I had some requests for winter, and I was like, well, nothing better to do in the winter, so I'm not going out there. So it's just it's fun, and we do prizes, and you get a goodie bag, and there's just a lot of inspiration. There's games, there's deals, and it's just for you. Like, if you sign up for this, all that stuff's just for you. So this is stuff I won't offer in my pages and on my groups and stuff. So make sure you hop on that. It's really fun, but do it soon so I can get it all together. But if you guys have any questions or anything, definitely holler at me, and I am more than willing to answer and let you know what's going on. You can shoot me a comment too in the comments of this video, and I'll try to keep on top of those. I keep refreshing. There we are. Angie here while I work. Yep. Angie does not have power at home, so she's at work with power, which I was like, okay, that's great. I guess you have to be at work though. Whereas, you know, when I went to work outside of the home, I was like, oh darn, we have power at work, but you know, or if we didn't have power at work, I was like, yay, I get to stay home. But we're here and we're scrapping and it's fun. So today, like I said, we're doing this sketch based on the CM virtual crop from April. I'm working my way through those, so but then I'm into July after this, so that's kind of fun. I'm caught up that far. And I am working on another Disney page. I'm just working on Disney nonstop right now. And I'm doing the Hollywood Tower of Terror. It's so much fun. And Mark and I had to go on this separately. So we have two different pictures. Mark's in right there and I'm right here because Lucy was like, nope, not riding that. And it's okay. You know, we didn't want to force her to do anything she didn't want to do. So we traded off and went on that, and while Mark was on it, Lucy and I took a fun little picture in front of it. Mark doesn't like pictures, so we're like, all right, well, we'll go do that then. And I have just some fun little pictures I took from it. So we're going to be doing that in our layout today. And I am using in the Revved Up collection. It's so funny because at first I didn't get this collection. I'm like, oh, it's cars. I don't really do off-roading and stuff like that. But as I was looking through my Disney pictures, I was trying to come up with like stuff to do for Star Wars, stuff to do for, you know, kind of that more, you know, I don't know, grungy looking stuff. And to my surprise, the Tower of Terror colors match this perfectly. So I was like, all right, Revved Up it is for this too. So I'm probably gonna have to order another pack of this because I have a lot more Star Wars to do as well. And if you haven't been with us, my goal for my Disney album is to use mainly Creative Memory stuff. Like that's kind of my MO for this album. So once in a while I'll throw in like an Elsa sticker, you know, because I have one and it's fun to use Disney stickers too. But for the most part I'm trying to use just CM stuff. So it's kind of what I'm working on right now. I'm also going to use the Spiderweb border punch. I believe this one's still available. I didn't even look. So I don't know if it's on the deals, but there are holiday deals going on right now where you can buy punches, buy one get one. Yeah, buy one get one free. Not even half off. So you'll want to check that out. I think that wraps up December 20 or while supplies last. So definitely get on there. And then there's other fun stuff that's like 40% off, 30 to 40% off. So definitely go on there and check that all out. But yeah, we'll get started here. I'm going to set my photos aside. And what I'm using today are these shades here. And as you can see in this sketch, there are a bunch of banners. Now I did go back to the blog and look at the example as well because I like to see the color combinations people use when they do these for their examples, just so I can see. And the person who put this together actually didn't do the two end banners, so she only had done the top and side. Actually, she might have done all these, but didn't only did two on this side and just kind of decorated there. So like I say every time is with these sketches, you don't have to go verbatim. You can mess with it as much as you need to. You can turn it if your picture sizes don't work. You know, put a mat where there's a picture if you don't have enough pictures. So these are really flexible to do. So that's kind of the point I like to make with sketches and such. So just so you know, you can do what you need to do and still enter it for my challenge. And I'll get to that at the end here, how my challenges work, in case you aren't aware. So these, I'm going to essentially build my page on a piece of background paper or cardstock, just a piece of white, just because I wanted to save my Revved Up paper. I wanted to like cut it instead of just use a whole sheet. That's going to get covered anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this sheet in half and put this going to kind of be our background beneath the banners, just because I love how the yellows pop with this. Like, it's like the perfect colors for, you know, the stuff. So I was like, yeah, we're going to use that yellow for sure. And even this pattern here, like under my picture with this paper, is perfect. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the most perfect paper for this layout. So you'll be surprised sometimes when you look at CM paper, you're like, yeah, I can never use that. But then you look at your pictures like, wait a minute, those colors are identical. And you can't even tell that this paper is meant for cars. So there are some places like the lightning bolts. I'm not really a huge fan of these. And I was like, well, if I do Lightning McQueen maybe, which we didn't even go to that this time, that would fit great. But I'm going to use this side. So to do that, I'm going to check this out here. So I think I'm just going to cut this right down the middle, 6 inches. I'm kind of going off book here because this is supposed to be a background paper. behind the banner. So that would be, you know, whatever paper you want to use for your background, or your base, I should say, will be that paper that goes behind your banners. But as you can see, that's the only place it's really going to show unless you don't put banners down. So I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'm going to adhere it on half of this page, and the bottom half of this page is what I'm going to do. So all about saving paper, especially paper I know I'm going to need later. So I'm going to go ahead and get my trimmer out, and I'm just going to cut right at 6 inches. I'm going to do a double check here and make sure, but I think 6 inches should suffice. Yeah, it's going to get covered by banners anyway, even if it's too short. So you might watch this first and see if I screw up, and then be like, oh yeah, don't do that, because I do that a lot too. All right, so we're going to set this aside. All right, and then I'm going to adhere these like so. So we're already sticking stuff down. That's great. And this paper isn't overly directional. Like, yeah, it flows one way or the other. It's not like the lightning bolts where it has to go this way. In fact, I like kind of the mix-up of it on here, where one of them goes one way and the other one goes the other way. That way it kind of plays with my eyes a little bit on my page. So it keeps your eye moving. And that's kind of the point of a good scrapbook page. You want to keep your eye moving, focus on the pictures. All right. Just checking comments one more time. Okay. All right, so the next step, I think I will, because for the top half, I'm just going to use this black for the other side, but I'm also going to punch my border out as spiderwebs. So how this does it is you cut out little strips to align with your paper, or with your photos, sorry. So I'm trying to debate how I want to go about this. If I just want to cut the black in half, but at the same time I got to punch borders. So you can see I wing this an awful lot, which makes it fun. I think I'm going to do strips, but I'm going to make the bottom strips wider so I have room to punch. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then my photos, I'm going to figure out what I want to mat those on. And I might cut banners before I mat, just so I know what I have to work with. So I'm going to do something, oh goodness, how was I going to do this? This one's going to go here. And then these are going to be little squares. So I think, yeah, I think I'm going to cut my banners first and then worry about the black part. Just because I want to know what I have to work with in terms of matting. And I feel like that's all going to go together. So let's do our banners next. I'm going to move my photos again. I like to lay photos down and keep looking at what I'm working with, just so I know kind of space-wise what I have to work with and such like that. So each of our banners is 3 by 6. And they did have a banner punch at one point. I didn't get it just because I do like a trick with my scissors to make banners. Sometimes I screw that up, so maybe that'll happen today. We'll see. So you're gonna pick out, you can do like the same 4 on each side, like so you can pick up 4 different papers and then cut out, you know, 2 banners for each paper, or you can do completely different ones. So I'm gonna kind of do a matching of, you know, 4 of the same and 4 of the same. So, or I should say 4 of different papers on one page and the same 4 on the other page. It'll all make sense in a sec. Words are fun sometimes, right? All right, so these need to be 6 inches long. And this is a scrap piece I had from the Star Wars page I made. So I'm going to trim that right at 6. And it needs to be 3 inches wide, which I think we're right on the money there. Pretty close. We need to trim just a smidge off. Perfect. Such a great trimmer. I love my 12-inch trimmer. Flows so nicely. All right, and then I'm going to do a second one on the same paper. I like this color more. I'm trying to think I should cut it. So I'm going to cut it this way first. And then cut 6 inches off. Or cut that 6, I should say. All right. I'm going to go this way to 6. And you can choose to save your little scrap pieces. I kind of have a threshold on how big I keep. So if you have a smaller threshold, you know, save whatever you want. So this one I'm debating because I need 4 different ones. So here's 1, 2, I'm a very visual person, so I like to lay them out. There's tire tracks on this one. I don't know if I want that on this. Like on here there's tire tracks, but once you cut it, you're not gonna be able to tell. So I might go this one, and then this one, and this one. I'm thinking is what I'll end up doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this at 3, and then cut it in half because that'll be 6 inches on. So there's 3, and we're just gonna cut again at 6. So now we have 1 for each side, and then I'm not using that side, at least I don't think I am. Yeah. So this one I'm going to do both sides, so I'll need a couple of them. So again, we're going to cut at 3, and then cut again in half for 6 inches. And make sure your arm is out. There we go. Sometimes I forget to put my arm all the way out, so it's slightly tilted and it's not quite 6. So make sure you have that all the way out. Just because I'm in such a rush, I'm, throwing it open. All right, and now I'm cutting for this side. Actually, let's flip so we know. Oops. And then again at 6. All right, and that should give us 4 for each side there. Perfect. All right, now I know for your banners, some people can take their trimmer, and I know like to cut and cut. I am more of a use the scissors kind of girl when it comes to that. So I'm going to show you my little trick here, and it looks scary, but it's okay. If you have your way of cutting banners, do your way. That's okay. So what I do is I tend to slightly, I don't crease very much. I just fold it, and I meet the ends right here. And if you do crease, it's okay, because you're probably going to cut it off anyway. So you could crease a little bit on the end there. But you're going to want to keep those corners even, or at least semi-even. And I take my scissors, and this is the scary part, because I'm like, I have to think about it. I'm like, okay, I want it to curve like this, right? Sometimes I've cut from the wrong side, and then I have like an arrow, and that's not what we want. We want more of a chevron, is that right? I don't know. All right, and then the other part is too, you want to make sure you kind of cut your banners evenly. So you want to know kind of what angle to have your scissors. So there's my first banner, just like that. A little scary, but not too bad, right? And these are probably going to end up getting tucked up under your border a little bit, so that's why it's 6. But I'm going to probably tuck it up a little bit so we have a little space there. So you can go through and do that with each of them. Or like I said, if you have the banner punch, or you want to use your trimmer, that's totally fine with you. Or that's totally fine either way. So I'm just going to do that for the rest of mine. I could probably do more than one at a time, but that freaks me out a little bit. So see, in this case, I was holding the other side and I would have cut the wrong way. So you want to make sure you hold, you want to cut from the corners that meet, not the crease in the middle. Because I have made that mistake many times. Okay. Again. And if they're not fully even, it's okay. Like, it's not going to matter in the long run. See, that looks pretty good. And again, this is just this is just how I learned how to cut banners before, we had the punch and all that. And so that's just the way I kept doing it. I'm sure the punch makes it so much easier and probably quicker, but I don't have the punch, so I probably should invest in it at some point. But this works for me right now. One more for this side. Yes, we're going to cut from the corners, not the crease. I almost did it right there. You get kind of comfortable after a while doing them, and then you're like, oh, I didn't think that through, and then you mess up. So just be attentive to where you're cutting. All right, I might not keep them in that order, but that's the 4 for that side. And we're going to repeat for the other 4. just a slight crease. Like I said, if you're going to make a crease, make sure you make it way toward the bottom here, not all the way up, because then you'll have a crease all the way up the middle of your banner, and you don't want that. Okay, and then make sure you hold your scissors very straight when you cut. Sometimes I actually move and then it looks kind of crooked, so hold your scissors very still and straight. Cutting from the corners and up. Two more. It's kind of fun once you get used to it. Because suddenly you find that, oh, I can cut banners no problem after you practice a few times. So once again, you're going to meet your corners. Crease slightly if you need to at the very end to help control your paper. I hold like kind of in the middle here. And then you're going to put your scissors where the corners meet. And you're going to cut at the angle you want. So I'm trying to keep them all pretty much the same, but I just eyeball that. You could measure it out, but I am not a big measurer. So, all right. Now I have all my banners. Okay. Put the scissors away. And I also have all these cute little, I'm not going to use them here, but you'll end up with some little triangles, you know, from cutting your banners. You can do whatever you want with those. Save them or throw them away or use them somewhere on your page. Okay, now I'm pondering. I'm not gonna adhere these down quite yet. I like to get everything kind of cut and then layer it. That way I know what I'm working with. So for our little black strips here, we're gonna cut them at 3/4, is that 3? Yep, 3/4 inch strip. And the same will be done here if you are going to do a separate border. I, however, am going to also punch a spiderweb border out of one of my strips. So I'm probably going to cut that more like, oh goodness, probably going to add about 1 inch to mine, maybe even more, because I could always trim off. So I'm not exactly sure what measurement that would be. I might go like 2 inches just to be safe. Punch my border and then trim to even it up if I need to. So I am going to cut 2 strips that are just 12 by 3/4 inch for each of these sides, and then I'm going to cut another strip that's 12 by 2 so I can punch my border. Now if you're doing separate borders, or you're going to use a sticker or something for your borders, or you're not going to have a border, just do 4 12 by 3/4 inch. That way you have 4 strips, if that makes any sense. So I am going off book a little bit here, which I do every time I feel. So first of all, and I could always punch my border, like I'll go ahead and cut my 3/4 strips first. And then maybe what I'll do, there's 1 3/4. Another one. Now another little shortcut you could do if you don't mind using paper is just cut this entire wide thing. So like say this is 4 inches, so you can kind of do the math there, right? And you're going to add another 1/4 inch. So it's just too much math for me. So you could cut one big strip of black 12 by, what would that be? 5.5-ish, something 5 3/4. And then just layer. So you could do it that way too. I am going to do strips because I like to save my black. So I cut my 2 smaller strips. I'm going to set this aside for a minute. Oh goodness. I'm going to slide this over so I have some room to punch. Alright. Here's my border punch. This is also a frame punch. You can punch like a frame out if you want. I'm just doing borders today. So there's these little black marks on the top there. I don't know if you can see them very well. Right here, where you're going to kind of line your paper up to begin. If you don't get it quite in that line, that's okay, because it'll make up for it later. You might have like half a spider web or something, but if you do care about having whole spider webs on your edges, start there. Alright, so there's 1 spider web. And now, as I go, I am going to measure or line up my spider web in this blue part right here. So I don't know if you can see that very well. You can see there's a blue outline of a spider web, and then you're just going to measure that, or I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep saying measure. You're going to line that up and then punch again. That way your punch is telling you kind of how far you need to go to make your border. I love border punches because they're like, I don't know, they're just neat. It's a very innovative tool for making borders. So, and the border maker is the same way, except they're just smaller and they come in cartridges. So you need the system to punch those. Today we're just using border punches. I did get my new border maker, by the way, in case you're wondering. Just didn't need it today. I was trying to be careful on what I planned. I kind of planned these ahead a little bit, and I was like, well, just in case, you know. Didn't want to be planning things that needed a border maker. But it worked out, because I just wanted a spider web for this one. Alright, so with my border, this is probably the best way to go about this, actually. Starting from the edge of the black here, I'm going to do 3/4 inch from there. That way I have my border plus the 3/4 inch strip. So I don't have two separate pieces. I can just put it all down. Alright, so there we go. This will be this bottom one, or as you can see, it lines up like this. So it's just the same thing, just added a border is all. And I'm going to repeat that process for my next strip. Same spider webs. I figured spider webs are a good thing for Tower of Terror, because Disney actually will, the way they decorate is, I got this little tidbit from YouTube, is they spray this glue stuff on the stuff they want to make spooky looking, and then over time, it's so gross, like dust and, you know, people's skin cells, you know, all that stuff that creates dust, starts sticking to it, and that's kind of how they make cobwebs and all their spooky stuff. And when I learned that, I was like, ugh. But if you think about it, it's kind of interesting, because that's just how dust is made. So maybe that's a fact you did not want to know, but I heard that somewhere, and I believe it. So spiderweb seemed appropriate for a Tower of Terror, just because I took a picture of one too, of the cobwebs. So they make it so cool looking in Disney. Such heavy theming there. So, and I think that's why sometimes we struggle to use CM stuff with Disney pictures, because we think, oh, you know, Disney's such a niche theme, but really I feel like, you know, anything can work with Disney. So like the other day I did a Haunted Mansion page and just used Halloween stuff, and that worked out great. And like what we're doing here with, you know, this layout, I'm just using Revved Up because the colors match very well. And I mean, it is kind of a spookier look once you cut it all. So yeah, just get creative. Don't let it intimidate you. Just have fun with it. Actually, I have to go this way, don't I? So again, we're going to cut at 3/4, starting from the bottom of our web here. So if this is how you're doing it, you want to make sure you start from the bottom of your border. And there we go. And now I have some black left over. So now we have all of our strips. I'm going to set this aside for a second while I take another gander here. Okay. So, like I said, my banners are not going to be quite like this, but I'm just checking it all out. And then this one will go on this edge. I like to cut all my stuff and then like lay it out and see where I'm at, and then I go to the next step. I'm a very visual person, so I like to see things come together step by step as we go. Which is why videos are very nice, because you can kind of learn to do layouts through video, and that's kind of how I roll. I can read, you know, measurements and stuff, but unless I can see it, I have a hard time envisioning it, which is why a lot of times I look at these sketches and I go back to the original blog post on CM, and I will see what the person created, their actual layout, not just the sketch, so I can kind of see how it's layered. So it just helps me, and it might help you too. Alright, so then they also have another piece. I think this one's going to be a square, actually. I don't know. That kind of runs underneath, and that's kind of like your photo mat. Now, if you are just using your background paper, you could leave it your background paper, which I could have done, but I kind of wanted to also play with this red a little bit. So I'm not sure. I might have just made this harder on myself than I needed to, but that's okay. I kind of like this brown even. I don't know, it goes so well with that brick, and the whole color scheme of this layout, or this collection, just goes with this so nicely. I might play with the brown, because I like the brown. I just feel like it needs a spooky vibe, and the yellow is really nice with this, but I feel like I need to tone it down bright-wise, which is kind of funny to say with this collection. But let's see, do I have another one of those browns? Oh, I do. Perfect. So I do have another one if I need to. If I really wanted to use the yellow, I do have another sheet of it, which kind of, well, this one I didn't have a full sheet though, so that is why I had to cut it in half. But yeah, I just think that's, I think it's too much yellow. I don't know. I think I like the brown. So we're going to roll with that. And I think, you know, I don't really need to trim this. I could just tuck it underneath, but I could trim it as well. So, where'd my sketch go? I'm just throwing stuff all over, and now my sketch got buried under papers. There we go. So this is all put together with strips. So what they did, yeah, because the black's going to take over a lot of that. So this is 12 by 4 1/4. This brown that would be behind my photos. So really it's going to barely show. So I could just choose to do, you know, just little tiny quarter strips, but I will just do the 4 1/4 cut just to keep it more sane for myself. So it's going to be a bummer about this is that I'm going to have a little bit left over, but not enough to do both pages. So I'll have to cut it in my other page, which is fine. It's all about using it up, right? Use your stash. Alright, so okay, so now I have this strip I can use for some other project. And then I'm going to repeat for this page. And now directionally, I don't think I really care. If you care, definitely think it through. Or if your paper demands that it goes a certain direction, think it through before you cut every time. Alright. Now we can start putting it together. Yay! Alright, so here's what we have. I'm going to move my pictures again. So many layers. Okay. And I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and put our banners down first, keeping in mind that they can stand a little bit above this paper down here, if that's how you're doing it. I think I'm going to mix and match these a little more. I like my red kind of more in the middle, I think. I like that. Okay. So, I'm leaving about, just over 1/2 inch on the bottom here. I could go less, I suppose. Maybe 1/2 inch. I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch on the bottom, just so we can see our yellow a little bit more even. And like I said, you know, in the beginning, you could just do 2 banners and then put some embellishments or journaling here. Or you can just, you know, journal on a banner, or however you want to do it. It's just funny because the sketch had 4 banners on each side, but the example that the advisor had put together only had 2 on the one side, at least. I can't remember if it was on both sides. So I thought that was interesting. But it also just shows you can do whatever works for you. So, like, if you have an extra picture or something too, you're like, oh, I have too many pictures for that sketch. Well, no problem. Just put it right here, you know? So you can totally be flexible with these sketches. So you don't have to stress if it's not perfect. All right. Might need to get a little bit of tape runner under there. The little things are they're sticking out because I kind of folded them when I cut them, and that's okay. Otherwise, it can give it some texture. It's all right. Okay, and what I'm probably going to do is center, actually, where's my other black strip? There it is. I might put the black strip down first, so that way I know how far to butt that up against. I also don't want any white to show. Like I said, the white is merely to build my page on. So I use top loader pages. They also have the pages and protectors, which is what a lot of people use that have been with CM for a long time, and that's great. I like the top loaders because I can move my pages around if I screw up or something, or like what I do is I scrap and then I pile my pages up and then I sort them into my books once I have them done. So yeah, this is kind of my page, you know, the white. So now I do say this too every time there is a necessary allowance at the paper mill. So you're going to find that some papers aren't as long as your cardstock, and that's because there is like a 1/8 inch allowance on cardstock at the paper mill, so you can trim that off if it drives you crazy. This one I probably will trim off when I'm done, because that white does kind of stick out quite a bit. You can see it really well with such a dark palette. Perfect. All right, and then we can just layer this on top of there. Look at that, it's coming together so well. Now for the webby part, I'm probably going to use a repositional tape runner. I probably don't really need to even put tape on it because this piece would hold it okay, but if you do, I recommend repositional tape runner on a silicone mat. If you don't have a silicone mat, try wax paper. I love my silicone mats. They are an advisor exclusive, so you can acquire them that way. Otherwise, you have to be an advisor to buy them. So, at least right now, they'll probably go away at some point. I think they were a join gift at one point as well. Or it was like a buy get thing, or you pick promo, I don't remember. Alright, so there's one page. What I like about 13 by 13 mats is I can just flip them around and work on the next one. And then put them back when I'm done. Alright, so again, probably going to do our banners. I could just put this piece down. Okay. Make sure this is how I want my banners. Yeah, that's fine. My kid's messaging me from downstairs. That's so funny. She wants something. Okay, and again, I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch. That's awesome. She wants to download a game. She always asks me before she does, which I appreciate. Okay. 1/2 inch of yellow I'm leaving there. I need to turn on some Christmas music or something. It's so snowy out there. Lake Effect snow is so funny because in one spot of the county it'll be like complete whiteout, and in the others, like a mile up the road, the sun could be out. So it's just an interesting dynamic. So if you live in a place that doesn't get Lake Effect snow, it's wild. Oh, actually, I want to put this piece down first. That's right. Just double checking comments. Oh my goodness, I have so much comments. Sorry guys. What about gray? Yeah, gray would have been good. That's okay. Oh, hey Brandy, I'm glad you could hop on between your stuff going on there. the ambulance barn. It's so cool that you do that. And then we got the multicolored paper. Sorry, Angie, I totally didn't see your comments till just now. Oh my goodness, that was so 7 minutes ago. Oh, I need to check those more. I have like the screen up and then I have to scroll a little bit to see them so they don't just pop up. I know on the screen above me they probably pop up, but I can't see them from here. So, but thank you for your inputs. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness. I just made my own calls today. Alright, now I am going to trim this little strip off because it is going to drive me bonkers. It's so funny because this one I didn't run into that at all. This one, however, I did. I don't know, maybe I layered a little more on this one. But like I said, it varies from cardstock to cardstock. Ooh, I'm afraid I'm going to screw this up. That's why this is a good tool to use. This little line that comes with your trimmer, in case you didn't know about that. There's little lines you can do. Little guidelines. You're going to want to push a little bit hard if you're doing this. Multi-layers. There we go. Not so bad. Alright. I'm still a little white showing, but that's okay. Probably because I didn't put things on there very evenly. Get rid of these little things. Alright. Coming right along. Look at that. I like it. Alright, and then for my pictures, I don't think I need to do much matting. Just because there isn't a whole lot to be seen behind these anyway. Now my pictures, like in this sketch, I say this every time, they're 4x6 pictures being used and then 3.5 by 3.5 squares. However, I have a couple, like these ones over here are going to be 4x6 or 6x4, sorry. So those are going to go across just fine. However, my other photos from my phone, that's because these were taken on the, Disney cameras, are true digital, meaning they're like 4x5 1/4 or something weird like that. So this one's not going to quite match up, but I am going to center it and it'll be fine. And then these I'm going to trim down to my square size. I might not do 3.5, I might just go full 4, which again, like I said, you can be flexible with your sketches. So I might just do 4x4 for those. So I like how it's looking. And then I'll probably put a title or something somewhere. Let's see. I usually go off camera and do all that embellishing and titles and stuff. Oops, I was running out there. Okay, so this one I'm going to go all the way across like that. Now I was looking ahead at my calendar and I noticed Christmas is on a Wednesday, so we will not do this that day. I will probably do it more like the Monday or something that week, just because I'm sure you all have plans on Christmas. If not, I mean, hop on my page and say hello, but I probably will have plans on Christmas, so we will do the challenge hour live probably Monday is my guess. Just a heads up on that. I know plans are coming together for a lot of people for Christmas and whatnot. So, alright, now this one I want to debate. Where do I want to cut? This event is really spooky and funny. Don't think I need it though. So usually I cut the first side. I will cut off what I don't mind cutting off. And then I will trim up from the other side where it's like I could do more. But I want to show at least more of the elevator. That way they know what it is. I could do the 3.5 by 3.5. We'll see. I don't know yet. This one I'm going to go right to the edge here. Nice. Okay. I think I like it. And I probably could matte these on gray. That might look good. So I'll probably do that. I'm probably not going to stick around on here much longer just so you guys can get on with your day. It's already 1:45, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. I will, however, post my finished layout for you to see later. See, there's all the cobwebs in this one, which is why I thought of using the spider webs. I'm going to layer these a little bit too, I think. But yeah, I will go off camera and embellish and title and all that stuff, and then post later my finished layout. So if you don't know what these challenges are about, hop on over to my Ashley Scrappy VIP page, or group I should say. This is a page, the one page I'm on, and request to join. And then every week on Friday morning I draw a winner and then I post the next challenge. So for next week, the challenge will be posted Friday at 10. Every week I post. And then the challenges, you have a whole week pretty much to do the challenge. They're due 11:59 on Thursday night. And Friday morning I get up and I see who posted it in time and I throw them in a drawing. And that person wins a little goodie for me. So it's just a good incentive to, you know, get some pages done and get excited about doing pages and get some ideas. So make sure you hop over there and see the challenges. And if you did my page with me, make sure you post it in the comments of the challenge post, which is in the featured section. You want to post it in the comments of the original post I put out saying, here's this week's challenge, here's a sketch, here's an example, and all that. So definitely get on there and do that so you have a shot at the prize. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what you guys are doing and what you worked on. So I hope you guys have a great day. Stay warm and stay safe, and enjoy your snow day if you get one, and just have a great rest of your week. We'll see you guys later.